A letter, thick cream paper, the kind that costs more than your lunch. A law firm you've never heard of. Your name on the front, spelled right. Inside, one sentence stops your heart. You've been left $1 billion. You read it again, then a third time. 1 billion, 9 zeros, from a man you have never met. And then you turn to the second page. The catch. The will has a condition. You have 1 year, 365 days to spend or give away every last cent of it. Keep nothing for yourself. End the year at zero, or you were never really his heir, and the whole fortune goes to strangers. At the bottom, in his own handwriting, one line: money kept is money wasted. Show me what you do with a life that isn't counting. Spend $1 billion in a year. Keep none of it. You almost laugh, because that isn't a punishment. That's the best dare anyone has ever handed you. So you say yes, and the next morning, you begin. You find out a little about him first. No children, no scandal. A man who spent 50 years building a fortune, and the last few of them realizing he'd never once enjoyed it. Too busy guarding the pile to ever stand on top of it. You weren't chosen at random. He picked someone who still remembered what it was to want things. He wanted to watch, from wherever he is now, someone finally do it right. You go straight for the dream, the house on the hill, wall of glass, the view that makes people go quiet when they walk in, the car you only ever saw in other people's driveways. You walk into the showroom, point, and someone says, "Of course." You turn left when you board the plane instead of right. You sit in the restaurant, and for the first time in your life, you don't look at the right-hand side of the menu. You book a trip with no return date on the ticket. You buy your dad the car he pointed at in a magazine when you were 9. You put your parents in first class for the first time in their lives. The first night in the new house, you just walk from room to room, laughing at nothing. Then you check the balance. After the house, the cars, the watches, a wardrobe you'll never finish wearing, you've spent maybe $20 million. And you've barely scratched it. 980 million left. 11 months to go. Here's the first thing nobody tells you. $1 billion is almost impossible to spend on just yourself. The number is inhuman. To put it in perspective, if you spent $10,000 a day, every single day, it would take you over 270 years to run out. You could buy a private island, a jet to reach it, and a crew to run both, and barely feel the dent. The fantasy of selfish spending doesn't hit a money wall. It hits a human one. So you turn outward, and this is where it starts to feel like something. You call your mom and tell her the mortgage is gone. Just gone. You text your best mate, "Quit on Monday, I've got you." You hand your sister the keys to a flat in the city she could never have dreamed of affording, and you watch her cry in the doorway. You take your gran back to the country she left at 19 and never saw again. Business class. And she holds your hand the whole way down through the clouds. And you notice it straight away. Buying the car felt good for an afternoon. This feels good in your chest. Giving it away is better than spending it on yourself. Every single time. And here's something that catches you off guard. The watch, the car, the things you bought in week 1, you barely think about them now. You got used to them in days. But the trip with your mom? You replay it constantly. It turns out that's just how people are wired. We adapt to objects fast and stop noticing them, while experiences and the people we share them with keep paying us back for years. But there are only so many mortgages, only so many flats. 6 months in, you check the balance again, and it stops you cold. $600 million. Still, you're running out of road and you've barely begun. To get to zero, you're going to have to think much, much bigger. So you stop thinking like a winner, and you start thinking like a force. You fund the school that made you, not a check, a future. Every kid who walks through those gates, fees gone for the next 20 years. You wipe out the medical debt of thousands of strangers in one afternoon. People you will never meet, who wake up to a letter that says the thing they were drowning under is simply paid. You find 10 people with a wild idea and nobody to believe in them. The way you once were, And you back everyone. You build the things your town never had. A proper library, a clinic, a park with your grand's name on the gate. You don't put your face on any of it. The quiet gifts, it turns out, feel even better than the loud ones. Then one day a letter reaches you, a woman you've never met. Her husband's hospital bills were among the thousands you cleared in that single afternoon. She writes that, for the first time in 3 years, they slept through the night. You read it twice and you have to sit down. You spent your whole life assuming $1 billion was about everything you could get. It turns out it was about what you could lift off someone else's back. And you live too. The match you only ever watched on the telly. You're there, in the seats right behind the bench. The reef you swore you'd dive one day. You're in the water by Friday. You take everyone you love to sea for a week. No alarms, no bills. The whole crowd who knew you before any of this, together in one place. Because of you. Someday stops being a word you say and becomes a place you actually go. Money stops being a number on a screen. It becomes a thing that moves through the world and changes it, and you can feel exactly where it lands. The last month arrives faster than you expect. The balance falls towards zero, and you brace yourself for the grief of it. The moment it's all finally gone. It never comes. Because somewhere in the middle of the year, the math's quietly flipped. You aren't losing $1 billion. You're keeping the only parts of it that were ever going to last. The week on the water with everyone you love. Your grand's face through the clouds. 100 lives turned around. 10 dreams funded. A town that works now because you were in it. None of that resets to zero. That's the part you get to keep forever. Day 365. The balance reads zero. And by every measure that ever actually mattered, you are the richest you have ever been. And finally, you understand the man's note. Money kept really is money wasted. It just sits there, doing nothing while you guard it and worry. Money spent on the right things doesn't vanish. It turns into memory and people and a mark you leave behind that outlives you. He didn't leave you $1 billion. He left you the 1 year that would teach you what $1 billion is actually for. You'd do it again tomorrow. And the strangest thing of all, with nothing left in the account, you don't feel empty-handed. You feel full. You go back to an ordinary flat, an ordinary morning, an ordinary cup of tea, but nothing about you is ordinary now. You know exactly what you're capable of and exactly what matters. And most people spend a whole lifetime never finding that out. And there's one real lesson you carry out of that year. Spending money well is genuinely harder than getting it. That's the quiet truth behind extreme wealth. At the very top, the limit isn't how much you have. It's how fast the world will physically let you move it. It's why people with 100 times this can't simply spend it either. In fact, hand someone $100 billion in a single day to spend it, and they'd fail. The banks, the paperwork, the sheer logistics make it impossible. That's the one we'll walk through next. What $100 billion in 24 hours actually runs into.